Hi. Happy Holy Saturday. It's a little bit late, but here it is. Holy Saturday is interesting. It's about Jesus' descent into Hades, where he went and he just destroyed it and tore the place up, pulled out all the saints, and I've even just heard Adam and Eve, that Adam and Eve were in Hades, which I didn't think of them like that. And he got everybody out, and then they were seen, I guess in Jerusalem. Forgive me if I'm not accurate on this, but everybody showed up there that was in Hades, all the old saints, and I guess Adam and Eve. It's a very interesting story. It's also a very orthodox story. And then what happens on Easter Sunday? He is risen. So he descends into Hades to free souls because he can, because that's who he is. And then he is risen again. And if I'm not mistaken, I swear I read that he stayed with the apostles for 40 days. Like after the resurrection, and I don't think of the resurrection as like he was there for a while hanging out. And why did he do all that? To save us. He had the human material body experience just like us, but with no sin. And he's not us, it's our God. But he did that for us. He had the complete human experience, free from sin, knowing he would be killed. It was prophesied for so long before he even was born. And he did it. He set everything right. Why? To free us. For our salvation, for our sins, so we wouldn't go down to Hades with the rest of them. And he got people out too. It was like the first thing he did when he died. And then what? He comes back, sets the apostles straight, and then sends them out. And they had rough lives if you read about the apostles. But they did it. Why? Bless them, because here we are today. Well, here we are today. I don't know how happy people are about that. But, yeah. It's a rough one. We'll have to find some way to keep it going. They picked Easter to stop the Eucharist and all the stuff that comes along with it, to do all this kind of stuff. They can put their marks on us and humiliate people. Yeah. Don't forget about it tomorrow, though. That's our day. That's his day. He did that for us. He conquered death. Do you get that? That's what it's about. He conquered death for us, so that we can have eternity forever. You know. Should you want a thing like that, you do. It's where we live. It's Planet Daddy issue, right? Yes. Call your father. Repent. Repent is the first thing he says. And then what does he say first thing after resurrection? Rejoice. It's the first thing he says to the two women when they find that his tomb, the tomb is knocked open. See, look, it's closed. The tomb is closed. It'll be open tomorrow. Can you see that? My finger's messing it up. There. I closed my toy tomb. It's not, I don't mean to belittle it. I think it's a big deal. Like, truth be told, for years I thought about making a little pendant that was like that, but with the stone open, so it's, you know, it's like a He is Risen pendant, because there's a crucifix pendant, which is important. I mean, look, the crucifixion is important, obviously. He did that for us. But I also, like, the resurrection is important too. I know that Bill Hicks uses as a punchline, but like, we have the crucifixion pendant of his suffering, but where's the resurrection pendant? I don't know if he said pendant, but I thought about making one of those for years, because I thought it was something you could do, like make a little thing you could put on a necklace of the tomb with the stone open. But I'll open it tomorrow. He is risen. So I don't know if it's going to be like a long episode. I did do an episode for Friday, and I wanted to give it to you, but I thought, it's not so great. And I think it was like an hour, or just about an hour. And I just decided not to put it up. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do one today, but I was like, no. It's Holy Saturday. I want to do a video, even if it's a short one. I want to do something, and I want it to be uplifting. And I don't know if I made any sense to you, but this is, you know, it's pretty uplifting to me. Some people light candles, because he's, you know, light candles. They do service, Holy Saturday service, right? Some do it, well, probably online this year, but some do it in nighttime. It's like, especially like an evening service, because when he died in the crucifix, everything went black, right? The sky went dark. Or was that before he died? I can't remember anymore. But I was reading it today. I went through all the I guess it's the Gospels of the different apostles, like the 4 of them that are in the, my Orthodox Study Bible, and I went through what they said about today, and I read all of that today. I did some prayers. I really love it. I do. I just didn't know, like, it's like meaningful order. It's everything. It's where we live. And if it isn't where we live, it is. But if you don't want to believe it, just go look at what all the wealthy elite are trying to do. Everything opposite of what we were given in Christ. It really is. Maybe I can't articulate it so good, but I could if I wrote it down on paper. So this is, totally improvised episode, like I said. I have one for you for Friday, but I don't know if I want to put it up. But I guess I could. Maybe I could put it up today. But I had to do something about Holy Saturday. All right? Because it's really cool if you think about it, what it is. Like, where's the movie where that? I never seen them make a movie where Jesus went into Hades to get everybody out. They didn't do that one. Jesus of Nazareth, starring Robert Powell. I did watch that, and I recognize what I like about it. There's a lot of stuff, now that I'm reading the Orthodox Study Bible, there's inconsistencies in what I've read in Orthodox Study Bible and other things to what's in that movie. And there's so many denominations of religion and stuff, but I still like Jesus of Nazareth. It's still my favorite movie, and it's a new thing for it to be my favorite movie. But why? Because they tried to make something beautiful, and I think it worked. I don't like the way the portrayal of Judas is very sympathetic, which isn't necessarily terrible, because he doesn't eat the body of Christ or drink the blood. Remember that? He goes to sell Jesus out. So what does that mean for him? He doesn't get eternal life. And he didn't even know that. He hung himself over it. And that's what happened to Judas. And I don't know if I said this in an episode, maybe I shouldn't, but I had an interesting thing happen to me. I think it had to be Thursday night. And that would have been like this part of Holy Week where Jesus was with the apostles having the Last Supper. And in the middle of the night I woke up and I thought, oh no, this is when they went to go get him. Now I know there's different time zones in the world, or even what day it is, but for my night it was Thursday, and I was sleeping and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I stayed up for like a long time, and I can't remember if I even went back to bed, but I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, oh no, this is when they got him and they're taking him away and everything, out of my sleep, right? I don't know why that happened, but then I was awake, and you know what I mean? And then Friday, which was yesterday, crucifixion, he died. So it's 3 days. They crucify him, he dies. Today, he descends into Hades. And then Sunday, Holy Sunday, Easter Sunday, he is risen. He transcended death. He broke death for us. Why did he do it? He did it for us. He went through the whole thing, no matter how horrible it was. And all the saints after him, men and women both, and others who didn't get sainthood, they died. They died knowing that that was true, that he was true, it was real. They were willing to die for it. Think about when they started, communism and all that stuff in Russia, all the Orthodox churches over there. Boy, there's a lot of converts. As soon as communism fell, I can't remember the number. It was like 80 something, 1,000, 100,000, whatever it was, converts since, I guess, the fall of communism over there in Russia, because they have the Orthodox Church over there, and that's apparently like the strongest, the last vestige that's being destroyed now is the Orthodox Church. But it really changed my life. It really did. And this movie, as silly as you may think I am about it, it really did something for me, because every time Jesus speaks, those are his words to us. And when it was done in a loving way like this, so beautifully, even though I feel like they didn't get some things right, it's just, this is the difference. The Passion of the Christ, I get it. That's, you're gonna be wrecked if you get tore up about, I'm not gonna watch the Passion of the Christ probably again or with anybody. But yeah, it's the torturing him. So Mel Gibson said he's gonna do the 3 days between his crucifixion and death and resurrection. So does that mean Mel Gibson's doing a movie about Jesus going into Hades and bringing everybody out of there, and then that's gonna have, like, you know, they're gonna cast like whoever, you know, the saints that were down there or something like that. And it's supposed to come out in 2021. I don't know. I didn't really like Passion. There's things about the Passion of the Christ I don't like that movie really. You know what I mean? But the parts where, I mean, it's the story, and like when they scourged him in Passion of the Christ, they tear him apart. Did they really do that, or was he just like Mel Gibson just inspired by like Grunewald paintings, or he's some kind of maniac or something? I don't want to diss him, but they are working on Resurrection of the Christ, and I thought, how are they going to do that? Because like the people that are young are older now. They're going to do digital effects. Like, what does that even mean, or what are they going to get? Like, whose stories are they going to focus on? I forget. I read the IDMB thing, but this is the most beautiful, and I looked for a bunch of them. I like the Gospel of John from 2003. That's a good one. That's a good one too. I mentioned it before, but that's the one where the Jesus is kind of like I don't know. It's just generational thing. So the way he portrays Jesus is good, but it's just like a different portrayal of Jesus. But I like that. The Gospel of John was good. And but this is still the best one, because I feel like this, like, when again are they ever going to allow a thing of beauty like this to be made? I think this was made for television because it's so long. So, I mean, obviously it is. It was made for television. It's like 6 hours. It's 387 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 382 minutes. I still like it. I can't think of any other movies that aren't just garbage. Like, there's a lot of movies that are made to look beautiful, but it's not this. It's not, you know what I mean? This is the best version. I mean, it's beautiful. It's supposed to inspire us, you know? And I think it was willful and deliberate that was done. And I don't think it's evil or leads astray or anything, but some of nothing's coming to mind right now, but I know there's a bunch of like nitpicks I have about it where it's like, I don't know if it was like that and whatever. But if you want to go see Ian McShane play Judas as like young, I was like, geez, how old is that guy? Is he one of those, Ian McShane, he's the guy from Deadwood. And he plays Judas in this, and they're really sympathetic to Judas in this. And it's like, well, I get, you know, like, to be sympathetic to everybody, like all the apostles like failed him and they cried for it. The thing that I get from the Orthodox Study Bible and other things I've heard about it is like the apostles were thick, like we're so like us, the common man. And those are his apostles, guys that knew Jesus. Like he couldn't get through to him, even when he's praying, when Jesus knew Judas was coming. And he's having a weak moment, and it's Jesus. He's like, come pray with me and watch me pray. So he goes to pray a little bit away, and he has the apostles watch him. And I forget, it's like Peter, John, and Peter, like Simon Peter, Peter the Rock. And then they fall asleep. He's praying and pleading with his God to spare him this. Like, if there's any way out, can you please spare him this fate? Because he's having the human experience. He's us. He's going through the whole thing. But he's doing it without sin 100%. And he succeeded. And after that, what does he do? He goes right into Hades, gets souls out of there, throws them back up, coughs them back up so everybody can see them. Oh, the other thing too, in the what do I want to say, like the Jewish church or the synagogue or whatever, there's a veil between, this is the house of the Lord, and there's a thing like that in Orthodoxy too, where they close the doors and stuff. But there's a veil there, and when Jesus died, the veil was torn between the secret part of God, that's the special part of it. Does this make any sense? The secret part, it's a place of God you're not supposed to go into, and they put a veil there. So when Jesus died, he tore that, and the earth shook. There was earthquakes. The sky went dark. I think before all that happened. It's a really interesting day. So I had a really interesting day too. Maybe I'll talk about that. It's kind of silly. I tried making hot dog jerky, so I was like, I'll see if that works, and it didn't work. Like, here's the things I went through. I put it in dehydrator, and I was like, it's all oily and greasy, and it was a big pain in the butt to clean all the like hot dog oil off. I use beef franks, by the way, quality, not those Gwalty. Oh, look, it's the cheapest hot dogs you can get, and they're made out of just all the garbage, and they dye them orange. Hot dogs are gray. I don't know if you know this. Did you ever see sausages before you cook them? They're gray. So when they make hot dogs, all the hot dogs are colored, because if they didn't color hot dogs, you'd be buying gray. Like the hot dog, everybody thinks of a pink hot dog. Oh, it looks like meat. No, hot dogs are great. They put coloring in every kind of hot dog because it's sausage, basically. It's like a factory sausage. So I tried to make, and they're really greasy anyway. So I made these, it was a waste of time. It took like 2 days. Dry, I know dehydrating can take a long time, but I put them in the dehydrator and all the grease and clean it up. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I have an air fryer that my parents gave to me. They're like, hey, we don't want this. So they gave me the air fryer, and it has a dehydrator setting. So all day long I was like, I put it away from me so I wouldn't hear it. And you don't hear it now, but it's still going. It doesn't have hot dogs in it anymore though. So I put it in an air fryer, and then finally I'm like, you know what? Forget about this. So I put them in the oven, the toaster oven, and set it for like 120 minutes a couple of times on like, I think it was 250, then 275 degrees, and eventually they turned into not jerky, but like hot dog. I should just show you. I don't have them in front of me now. I don't know why my Holy Saturday video became about dehydrated hot dogs, but I tried it and I'm like, I am not doing this again. This was not worth the labor and effort of like 2 days of attending to these things and three different it's a trinity of drying mechanisms: the low heat oven, the air fryer, dehydrator setting. It was like in for 10 hours in the dehydrator, and that kind of worked, but it's just all the grease and the mess. So I've seen people making the hot dog jerky on the YouTube videos because I wanted to see, like, can you make jerky out of hot dogs? And you can, because people have videos on it. And yeah, it's just a big greasy mess. So I don't recommend doing that again. Hot dog jerky, not recommended. And I'll let you know what it tastes like when I have any, but I haven't had any of it yet. But I did like, okay, it's all degreased and everything, and it probably still has a little bit more grease. So truth be told, now that I think about it, I'm probably gonna put it in there. I'm probably gonna put it in the oven like one more time for like an hour and a half or however long it takes to try and get the last of that grease out of some of the pieces. I don't know why that's in a Holy Saturday video, but that was part of my Holy Saturday. And yeah, I mean, you can go online and watch, maybe, I don't know when you're gonna see this, but if you want to see what the service is like, I know they light candles on Holy Saturday. Maybe it has something to do with like his descent and going into Hades and darkness, or lighting a vigil candle is probably really what it is. Like you light a vigil for somebody when they're dead, because here's the date, as far as the world's concerned, he's dead and he's in the tomb, right? Where's my finger? He's dead and he's in the tomb, but he transcended death. He's in Hades and then the resurrection. He is risen. It's pretty cool. Don't let him ruin it on you, no matter what. Yeah, I guess that's going to be it for this episode. I'll look at I'm not going to put up the episode I had for Friday. I'm just not going to do it. I've decided now that it wasn't any good. It wasn't bad. I didn't curse or speak ill of anybody or anything, but it's just like, I just want this one for today. It's Holy Saturday. I'll focus on that, and all the narcissism you're going to get is that I tried to make hot dog jerky and it didn't work. And whatever. So thank you for listening to this. I'll probably have something for tomorrow, but I don't know when or if, because, you know, a lot of us are still, despite this, going to be seeing families or friends, you know, all covered up and everything. And I know a lot of people aren't. And the biggest thing is, I didn't know that, like, nobody can go to church, really. It was like a big mandate, and I get it. I get it why, you know, but, and you do too, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And don't forget, when I was younger, I would hear that Christ died for us, but didn't mean anything. But it's really, you know, I want to say like there's a math to it, like math is not the end all be all of everything, but like it computes, you know, it all makes sense, it's all there. And that Orthodox Study Bible, here it is, the New Testament without the cover on it, took the slip cover off. And then here's the Orthodox Study Bible with the Old Testament and New Testament in it. And it changed my life, and I am changed, and that's not going to stop now. So I don't know if you're going to like my videos from now on, but there's all kinds of stuff that just, I don't know what to say. I just don't want to do anymore. I want to delete my old videos because I speak so much shit about people. Maybe I can say this. Today was also a time of reconciliation for me, and I reached out to some people to reconcile some things. and not just in prayer, but also actually. And even if, there were things I needed to reconcile with other people, and it wasn't me butting in my life because I wanted forgiveness for selfish reasons or anything like that. It was just because I knew that I was wrong. And basically, what I read in the Bible made sense about why you should reconcile. I just wanted to. Not for the salvation of my soul or anything. I mean, sure, that's important. But it was just like, why would I leave anybody else carrying around stuff that I put upon them? I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but I had to reconcile with some people. Because I hate the idea of anybody carrying around any ill will. Like anybody having like a burden because of stuff I did that hurt them. My fault. Things I tried to reconcile were things that, problems I caused between me and other people. And even if I never hear from them again, I did what I could to set things right so that they would know that it was me and not them, and that it was my sin, my fault. I didn't say sin to them because they don't talk like that. But it was more than one person today. And I didn't know that I was going to do that today, but I wonder I wonder if that has any simpatico at all with his descent into Hades and the freeing of souls, and in me, I don't know, maybe maybe making somebody feel better today. Like, that guy finally admitted he was an ass. That was me. I did. So I thought, I'm eating shit today. But I earned it a long time ago. Call your father. Pray. Because I don't know when we're going to get into a church again or anything, but maybe you have these things. Maybe you have a spiritual father already. Maybe you do all these things. Maybe you have a body of Christ that you belong to. That's a church. Christ is the head, and the congregation is the body, and whoever leads the church leads. I recommend, of course, Orthodox church, but that could mean a lot of things, like Catholic. I don't know how you find the right place to go, but I don't think we're supposed to do it alone. I don't think you say, I'm just going to go my way and worship the Lord my own way. No, I don't know if that's so good. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to find for some. Maybe it is. I shouldn't say that. It might be very easy for you to find exactly the right place on the first try if you want to find a church, but now you're probably going to have to do it through emails and like, I'm looking for a church, I'm looking for my spiritual father, whatever it is. I don't know if you're looking for these things, but if for years I've been saying call your father, Planet Daddy issue. Do that. That's a start for everybody. And what is that start? Repent. And again, it was the first thing, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think that I am, that Jesus said as part of Sermon on the Mount, I'm learning this stuff, but I remember that, and he said repent, like that's the first thing he said. And then after the resurrection, the next thing he said was rejoice. So let me look up rejoice in the Orthodox Study Bible, because it's probably in here. And I don't know if the student Bible I have, I don't know if this is so great. It's good, I like it, but I also have to find like what a good Bible is that has like all these terms in it. This one was given to me for free. Like, it just kind of fell in it's one of those things where it fell into my lap, and I'm like, I don't know if I need this, but I'll keep it. And now I'm glad I have it, because it has been some help. But I don't know who. I can't recommend books to you other than the Orthodox Study Bible, and then like when I read to you the Student Bible, which is they're both from the same place. Thomas Nelson printed the Orthodox Study Bible and this Student Bible Dictionary. So let's look up the word rejoice. And of course, my movie recommendation for this episode will be Jesus of Nazareth from 1977, directed by Franco Zeffirelli, with is it Alfred Jarr soundtrack, and starring Olivia Hussey and Robert Powell as Jesus. Still my favorite online portrayal, because I looked online to find other Jesus movies. It's the best Jesus we've had in a film so far. I think Jim Caviezel could have been pretty good in Passions of the Christ, but all I did was see the guy get tortured. He didn't really do anything else. And then at the end he shows up with a hole through his hand, and it looks like bad CGI. I was like, boy, that resurrection of him at the end doesn't even look very good, in my opinion. But, and why'd they give him the nose? Why'd they do that? I think that, I don't know this, but I think that the reason Jim Caviezel looks the way that he does in his portrayal of Jesus that Mel Gibson did is because they used that Akiana painting as a reference. There was a girl prodigy painter, I don't know what else to call her, and her name was Akiana, and she did this painting of Jesus that got taken away from her and nobody knew where it went, and then she found out it was in Jerusalem. So she got to see it and did, like, since then, like, more paintings of this painting of Jesus. And I think that the way they made, like, they gave him a fake nose. They gave Jim Caviezel a fake nose in Passions of the Christ. You can't tell because the whole time he looks like chopped liver, right? They beat the hell out of him right away. So, I don't know, I think he could have been a good Jesus. And sometimes I have a picture of Clint Eastwood. It's not hanging anywhere. But the point is, I look at that and I'm like, I wonder if he could have played Jesus. And I'm like, nah, he could maybe do, I don't think he could do it. I don't know why I mentioned that to you, but it was a thought that I had. I guess because I compared him to Robert Powell as Jesus, and I was like, could Clint Eastwood play Jesus? And I'm like, I can't see it. Like, ugh. You know, maybe getting mad going into the temple where they're selling sacrifice lambs, stuff like that, when he tore the place apart. That's about it, though. I don't know. Does it sound like I'm dissing Clint Eastwood? No. We don't need him to play Jesus. He did so many other things. But this, Jesus of Nazareth, is still my favorite movie about him. And every time when Jesus does or says anything, they're, you know, really interesting parts of the movies because that's what he had to say to us. So, I'm still trying to find Rejoice. I went too far. Okay. So, after the resurrection, the first thing he says to the two women that went to put the oil on his feet, remember that? Two Marys, but not his mother. Not Mother Mary, like Mother Mary, his mother, his womb that he came out of, this material embodiment. Mary Magdalene and another Mary. There's a bunch of Marys in the Bible. And that's not a reference to anything now. I mean, like, their name is, women's name is Mary. It's not like a reference to, like, oh, Mary. You know what I mean? Like gay dudes. So anyway, where is Rejoice? I'm not really focusing on that. It's got to be right here. No, it's not in here. Rejoice. Huh. Where did I see that? I'll find it in the other one and I'll look in here. It's got to be in here, Rejoice. I'm looking in the other. My Zondavans. Which again, this is just gifted to me for free. Okay, Rejoice. Okay, it's got to be right here. Where did I just read that? I can't find it now. I'm sorry. I'm not going to look anymore. Rejoice. Why don't you do that? Go look it up. Go look up what it means biblically. Thank you for hanging out with me. Bless you who are watching this. And I pray that God gives you whatever you need to find your way back to Him. And if you have Him already, how lucky are you? How blessed are you to have Him already? So again, another blessing to you. In my Holy Saturday episode, he's in Hades right now saving souls. Guess what? He is risen. It's going to be cool. Right? Thank you for hanging out with me. Bless you.